Hello, chat. Okay, any gamers that are here, let me know if this is good. I made some more changes to my mic settings. I figured out how to do the noise gate thing and adjust that. It sounded good when I listened back to my own audio, but I would like y'all's opinion on that. Sorry about yesterday if you were trying to watch stream yesterday. Just straight up lost internet in the entire town for like 3 hours. And that was the second time that happened. I ended up delaying the stream to like make sure my internet was fine. Seemed like it was good. Out the second I start streaming. So cringe. I think it was like 6 hours yesterday without internet. Okay, thanks Spectrum. Uh, they're just like, yep, it's just gonna be out for the next handful of hours. Deal with it. Hey guys, welcome. How's my audio? Is is this sounding fine? Is it the right audio like level? And am I cutting out at all? Because the noise gate could cause me to cut out, I believe. So I'm just trying to make sure I have the settings right for that. I went with like the default settings for deep voice, so I hope that's good. While we wait for people to filter in, figure start by watching my own game on stream. I have it's a bit muffled. I'm a little echoey. Is this any better? I just moved the mic closer to me. Testing one, two, three. Is it any? Is it still echoey? I can just go back to the audio settings I had yesterday if this is worse and experiment after stream. But I haven't watched my own gravy game yet, so I figure while we wait for people to filter in and play my own gravy games, I'll watch that. Take some notes on the mistakes that I made because I know I made infinite mistakes during this game. This is like sub 10 total games with gravy, so I don't know what I'm doing yet. I know that my Mage Master Boots was probably wrong, but I mentioned this in the podcast. My current strategy is very similar to what I did with Halo, where I'm just going to use it ignorantly the first chance it makes sense. And I need to know when that's wrong, so I need to purposefully make mistakes in low stakes games so that way I know, okay, this is wrong, and now I have a heuristic, so I know what a game texture looks like when that's wrong. I'm just going to keep making mistakes on purpose till I know that when I'm supposed to do these things. Sounds fine. You watched it. Uh, Let me just change it back to like my normal mic, and you guys tell me which you like better. So this is with the noise gate on, and I'm about to change it. This is just my normal microphone with no extra settings on it. Do you guys like this better? Do you like it with or without the noise gate? This is without. It was with before. You like this more? I'm going to move the mic slightly further away from me because it looks like I'm going into the red a bit. You like this better? Okay. I guess you guys just live with my fan in the background. Deal with it. And then, in addition, while playing my games, just because I'm on stream, and like I imagine this is pretty relatable for most people, you're just gonna be like spamming games when you're just like sitting down to play the deck. I typically don't like to play this way. I like to play a game and then sit down and digest the game for a while, but that's not as good for streaming. So for the sake of streaming, and again, relatability, I imagine other people are going to want to do it this way. I have some shorthand notes of just basically like a sticky note of things that I'm going to be looking for during my games, and this is something that I'm going to be like kind of on the side of my screen referencing while I'm playing my games. These are just like shorthand versions of some of the stuff on the big Word document because this is too much to digest while playing games. This is not really usable while playing games. This is more. This is better for like really sitting down and thinking about the game for like 10-30 minutes. So you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to have this like little sticky note version off on my side screen. So yeah, let's while we wait for some more people to filter in, go watch my gravy game.
Also pretty fun here. I don't think they have a name card for me because the very first AGE they did, I sent them one and they said like they wanted serious answers or whatever. So obviously me being me, I was incapable of doing that. Every single answer was a meme. And the picture I gave them was the Pheno Kano, if you guys have seen that, the Pheno Whiner of Aether. I submitted that as my picture. So they just refused to use that. So I don't think I have a name card. Because like scrolling through this, it looks like it's just a Justin card. Let's see if they just like say anything about me instead.
Blank. It's called Whatnot, I want to say. It's the app or the streaming service. Honestly, I've never visited it, where you just watch people open cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Very popular. You got it the first time despite claiming not to know what it is.
Well, I'm sandbagging you as well as myself, as well as our audience. But so she's got an Arcane Rising box break coming up on what?
Oh my god, this was so annoying. The like, I don't know if she was the owner or something. Just like whoever the person was that was like running the event was behind the counter doing like Whatnot or something, like they're trying to mention here. Her energy level was so high for doing it, which makes sense. You're doing content, you got to be like on and engaged and everything, but just like high pitched like woman voice that's just like really energetic right behind you while you're playing your games was mad distracting. I ended up getting a headache after one of my games because I ended up sitting at the table like right next to where she was doing it, and just every time she cracked a pack, I just was like from her getting hyped up over packs, and I just had a headache after that. It was good for what she was doing. Like, great. I'm not saying she was doing it wrong or anything. Like, hey, yeah, she had the right energy for doing that type of thing. But just like right behind me while I'm playing a tournament was not the best experience. They had like an upstairs area. I wish she just did it over there, but whatever. That's a small complaint.
Not at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to tune the video, but bottom line, she's going to be trying. Excuse me. Yeah, his brother plays the game, and I'm sure in a way to support his. I don't know if he's a bigger brother or littler brother in his endeavors.
Yeah, and hard to judge based on aura. I did meet Justin in Vegas. I got paired into him during the limited calling. They're sealed, and got absolutely demolished by his disgusting Marlin sealed deck. So. Makes a lot of sense to me that Justin would be at an 86% win percentage, which is seeming like a popular win percentage among the better players over there at the AG East Coast.
If that's not special enough, Justin can.
Yeah, Justin's a really good player.
Anywhere in the world through telekinesis.
It's always nice when he's in the area. I don't see him very often, but
yeah, and look. Based on the way that I've seen Justin play, you could tell me he's capable of literally anything. And the last answer there implies that his internal monologue's got some stuff going on. So maybe one such thing is telekinesis.
He's also got that 86% win percentage at AGE thus far in his career, which granted he's only played one event so far, I want to say, and he made top 8 of that one. He's only played 7 rounds
I think they just
in AGE
do
so
no
far.
name card.
That being said, he is still sporting a really impressive win percentage.
Yeah, and obviously off to a good start here. Well, maybe not obviously, as he started 1-0 in his first round, and round 2 going to be up against another seasoned player in his own right, pheanoblack.
Well, let's go ahead and proceed on down then. It's been foretold that Gravy Bones is a pretty bad matchup for Justin.
No name card, so we're just gonna skip it.
He's a mainstay on the
Fair.
Earth Blade, and so he wants to hold on to his Earth.
There's matchups. How fluffy.
But so was his opponent, pheanoblack, who brought, I believe, Azalea, along with his partner, James Ceruleus Silver, who helps us out at Great Stories Comics and Games when we host these events there. Now, however, he's found himself on Gravy Bones' Shipwrecked Looter. Pheno is no stranger to board state decks. I believe he was a huge fan of original.
Nevertheless, a solid split damage start here for Train for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, I think did play in US Nats on Florian. I don't think made day 2 because he was around to absolutely wreck me in the calling. So nevertheless, a solid split.
So I presented no AB. I don't think that's like really important to the matchup. I don't perceive myself to like ever be dying in this matchup. If I'm getting to the point that my life is relevant, it's probably because the Florian just isn't clearing my board and isn't blocking, and they're just like trying to punch me in the mouth. But I don't think they can win the game doing that if they just ignore my board and go face. I'll just block and push my board, because just block like 2 to 3 cards, push my board is incredible value, and maybe establish like one more guy around or something like that if it makes sense. So I don't think that was necessary to the game. Let me make this bigger.
Damage start here for Justin on turn 0.
Yeah, it's a rune chant generated on Grasp the Arcanite and follow up with Enlightened Strike. Looks like the Chosen mode go again here. So 1 Arcane and 5 Physical. What is Justin going to do with the rest of this turn? You have to imagine that with 1 in the pitch, it's going to be a follow up of that Reaping Blade.
Yeah, I think that's right. Pheno deciding not to present, unless I'm not counting something, any Arcane Barrier in this matchup, so that is just going to be one true damage heading Pheno's way on the Rune Champ.
And I think that is, in general, a pretty heads-up way to present your equipment suite against the Florian. I mean, now that Scepter of Pain has been banned, thanks to our teammates on the AGE Pro team, Alexander Vore, Evan Bridges.
What's the
and,
can't be serious?
Johnson
Is that in
Hall,
regards to
that
the
doesn't see any more light in the sun after
the
PQ
whatnot
season.
thing?
You can kind of depend on Florian not to really kill you too quickly with arcane damage. He's got to be sending physical damage, and so you might as well make sure that your equipment suite ensures that your deck hums the way it should.
Here, I actually had an interesting thought. I believe the other card in my hand defended for 3, but I chose to keep it and take 1. I just felt like the card in hand was better, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Can we get a
Florian
glimpse at my
not to
hand at
really
all?
Kill you too quick
No.
hums the way it should.
Yeah, I think that's right. And notably here, Pheno being forced to take 1 point of chip damage physically because he's got a, I believe, a Limpet. That's an ally in hand, so no block value there. That's one thing that's I think a little bit makes the necromancer a little bit less maybe flexible than illusionists, traditional illusionists would be in the past. In that the
Okay, no, it was an ally.
available for their defensive value.
First action, not really action, but first thing that Pheno does affirmatively on his first turn of the game is activate Gravy Bones, discarding that Limpet that kind of rotted in the hand on that turn 0. Pheno also kind of showcasing or maybe foretelling what is going to be in the deck. There's a big debate in the Gravy Bones community. How many Golden Tipples do you run? And the fact that Pheno blocked with a yellow one on turn 0 implies that he's on the full suite of 9.
Tipple's broken.
Yeah, I didn't know you were such a connoisseur of the Gravy Bones community, but I think that's a really...
This game was like incredibly awkward for me too, just kind of foreshadowing of the future. The first like handful of hands that I had just like didn't really do shit. Either I think it was just like I couldn't find gold or I couldn't find allies, and then it was like I found all the allies, then I found all the gold generation, and now that I found the gold generation, I couldn't find allies. It was something weird like that where I just like wasn't doing anything and I just pissed away a bunch of my deck for no reason.
One of those cards that can be very, very good when it lines up really well, but potentially a little bit inconsistent.
Speaking of another good card, it's Conqueror of the High Seas. High Tide has been activated thanks to the 2 blues that are in the pitch for pheanoblack. 8 go again here, threatening that arsenal that Justin painstakingly established on turn 0. He does, however, have plenty of blocking cards in the hand behind that shoulder. One of them, however, is a Cadaverous Tilling, another contentious card in the Florian Rotwood Harbinger deck.
And Conqueror of the High Seas, doesn't this just feel like one of those cards that we're going to be seeing for the next few years of our lives? Just, to the extent there are pirates around, just the rate on it, the Arsenal Destruction on a go-again body. Really, really cool card thus far. And here, Justin covering it all up. That is, of course, the major downside to Conqueror as opposed to the traditional CNC is your D-reacts do not become valueless.
Okay, Call to the Grave is the follow-up for pheanoblack here, which means that a blue will have entered his graveyard, and he'll have access to Limpet Hopalong, and of course, whatever he finds.
So here, I don't actually know what his game plan is, if he's going face or if he's clearing my board. So I don't think it's like clear what I'm supposed to grab here and like if I'm supposed to sandbag or not. Maybe I am just supposed to sandbag and not give him a target since he blocked and he's just gonna play a 2-card hand. And like most of his 2-card hands are kind of suck here. If he goes face with a 2-card hand, like the best thing he could do is attack me with a Tilling. It's kind of mediocre. And like playing a Sawbones just gets cleared by his sword and he gets a rune chant worth of damage in. I don't think I'm really accomplishing much by getting a guy here, so maybe I'm just supposed to sandbag.
In the deck to accomplish...
Or grab an item. Actually, I'm supposed to grab a Diamond Amulet here, I think. This is a Diamond Amulet turn now that I think about it, because it's very efficient for him to clear anything I can grab with 2 to 3 resources, because I can Dead Threads.
Company her.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't think it's going to be Chum here. Pheno has not activated Dead Threads, and he has no...
I could also Limpet, swing Limpet, and then still play the Amulet out, and kind of get the best of both worlds, but then I have nothing in my bin.
Cards left in hand, which means that he has access to 3 resources here. Makes me think that it might be, let's see, he'll want to bring out Limpet, and finding immediately that Diamond Amulet, and hovering. So it's not going to be a perfectly resource-efficient play for pheanoblack in terms of what he...
Yeah, I think in hindsight I was supposed to just grab the Diamond Amulet, play it, and pass, and just sandbag my graveyard because of the texture of, like, what is he actually going to play on a 2 to 3 card hand? What did he block with? It was a red Tilling?
The Arsenal Destruction on a go-again body. Really, really cool card.
Yeah, a red Tilling. This makes me think that he probably already has, like, a big chonky attack here if he wanted to. Or he doesn't have Earth in his bin yet. I guess he doesn't have shit for Earth, right? Like, his first turn was throw a E-Strike at me. So the Tilling doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, I'm just supposed to get the diamond. This was a big misplay. Okay.
Will have entered his graveyard. Cards left. Not going to be a Sawbone on Iron Chef right now.
Yeah, I think that's really emblematic of what makes this new Gravy Bones hero so cool. we're going to have hundreds of decision points throughout one single game. And that is what's so exciting about seeing really skilled players pilot this hero, is that, I as somebody who's not a connoisseur of Gravy Bones in the same way you are, Bryce, would have no idea what they're going for on that first call.
Listen, these board state decks, even though I am...
Yeah, and just like developing another guy doesn't actually accomplish anything here either. This was terrible. Now I don't have anything in my bin for the next round, and if he has like a go again attack, it's like really efficient to clear both of these. All I got was 2 damage. If anything, just playing the Sawbones and getting 6 damage and sandbagging the Limpet is better. I think this was actually the worst possible play I could have made. I only got 2 damage, and I gave him more things to clear. I think here I'm thinking I'm supposed to try creating a board that's inefficient for him to clear, or just like, here's too many things, but I just don't think that makes any sense. And all I've done is make my next hands harder to play, because I don't have gold and I don't have guys in the bin. Or if I have at least one, my next hands play better. Because if I have a blue, but no like ability to play guys in my hand, whatever, I'll just like play the guy in my bin, and just like play the game that way, and maybe end my turn on playing the guy that's in my hand. Or if I have gold, then I can play the game that way because I have gold, and I can just do the thing with that, and I can hero power. This just put me in a spot where my next draws are incredibly awkward, and I'm not actually accomplishing anything here. I got 2 damage and gave him an efficient clear when his deck doesn't really operate on 2 cards with no Earth cards in grave. This was terrible.
Probably not going to be a Gravy Bones player myself. I tend to think that you need to know the ins and outs of their decision points, especially if you want to target them, right? Like, in the way, it's not like a Guardian where you can kind of just take whatever comes your way. I think board state decks require of the opponent, the one that wants to take them down, at least a surface level understanding of the deck, so you know what is coming your way.
And then this is exactly it.
The way in which you address all of these allies, in the ways that you
Holy
beat
lag.
up the board state of the opponent. And Justin is doing...
I think I can also kind of read that his Arsenal card is a go-again attack there. On his previous round, he attacked with an E-Strike. Pretty reasonable that his Arsenal's a go-again attack then, since he got rid of a go-again attack on the first round.
doing exactly that. Looks like both the Sawbones and the Limpet.
And if it was a D-React in Arsenal, he probably would have played that instead of the D-React from his hand to play around... I mean, I say play around Conk, I attacked him with a Conk. He just would have not cared that I was conking him and played the D-React from Arsenal and not given me armor. So it's like incredibly obvious that this is a go-again attack.
Are cleared up on Justin's turn. 38 plays 38. Back to Pheno.
And I think that's a very nice draw there for Justin to be able to draw up this sort of hands. I don't.
It could be a Earth Decompose attack also. But that also seems kind of dubious.
Traditionally think of Florian as a deck that can consistently go wide, but obviously there are options to that. Got Swarming Gloomveil in addition to that, I believe the Rune Ranger Swarm. So Justin.
I also think that I need to be better about pitching these Rabbles when I'm against a Fatigue deck. Like, I really need to make sure that my stack is just like 3 Rabbles and some Extenders, so I can kill them at that point of the game. But again, my hand doesn't really play here. But if I had an ally in the grave, my hand actually does play here.
Great job there, making sure.
So this is just me punishing myself.
And of course, Pheno leading off here with Murderous Rabble, which is our newest blue that converts for 3 offensive value. That's, which I think the power of and value that you get from a card such as that,
It also made the Give No Quarters I had in the list at the time terrible.
Quote unquote real card value out of their blues. And that's what made Enigma so powerful and Part the Mistveil so powerful. And I think that Gravy Bones is well situated to be able to do that with this Murderous Rabble card.
Yeah, Murderous Rabble, and then looks like Pheno is gesturing towards that Mage Master
Oh
boost.
my
Yes, indeed,
god, this
it
is
is going to be
laggy.
Rigor Mortis resolved. I think that was out of the hand, which means that Pheno might have a bit of a brick. Usually this Mage Master boots wants to be employed when you have a plethora of allies in the graveyard. In this case, however, just kind of trying to smooth out what is an otherwise awkward texture for Pheno.
And I believe
This is like
so
unwatchable laggy.
One floating resource, I believe, since he pitched a blue. The one into Mage Masters, followed by one into Rigor Mortis. Maybe just going to swing here, be able to get full value and pitch the card in Arsenal. Difficult to tell here.
Yeah, and then me pissing away the ally there. Oh, there's the Give No Quarter, like I mentioned. Yeah, this Give No Quarter would have been sick if I had the ally in the bin still. I could have just played the Give No Quarter, played the ally, and then moved on with life, or played another ally or something. I'm wasting my Mage Master boots for, like, tempo here. This is a terrible Mage Masters. Don't do this. But this is me. Okay, I kind of bricked. Let's see if I get punished for doing it. This is within the strategy that I had of learning. And I knew it was a terrible play. but I needed to know. I needed to see what happened. Like, how does this game play out now that I don't have my Mage Masters? What is the game texture going to look like? But this is just a compounding of mistakes from that first round, and that first turn is going to ripple throughout the entire game. I think that first turn, I wouldn't say cost me the game, because the game ends in a draw, and if I had played faster, or had rushed him to play faster, but I was trying to not be a dick about it, I would have won, because my next turn, I believe the turn that we went to time, I put him to 1, and my following hand dealt like 17 damage or something like that. So if we had one more turn, I would have won the game.
Here is our seems our stream is being a little bit uncooperative for us here. Oh, Pheno sending a little note to the chat there. Well, fortunately, I guess, Pheno, there you could have done nearly anything, and I don't think we would have been able to catch it because of some fortuitous.
That was me saying, "I'm new to Gravy. Have mercy on me, chat."
But, nevertheless, ending his turn with Rigor Mortis, which is a dangerous ally. It'll require a full card from Justin to clear up, and a card in arsenal.
Not a bad setup here for pheanoblack. Definitely not really the turn he wanted to cash his boots in for, but in this case, Justin has a pretty smooth clapback. It's an activation of Grasp of the Arcanite with Swarming Gloomveil, which means that we've got 3 go again on this mainstay Rune Blade attack, and also 1 true damage in the form of that Rune Chant, thanks to the fact that Pheno does not have any Arcane Barrier to speak of. It looks like Justin shows Pheno as the target here. 35 plays 37, currently barely in the favor of our Shipwrecked Looter, who's drawn up a pretty good blocking hand as far as I can tell. It looks like there are absolutely no allies in there.
So he's got 1 Eye of Ophidia in there. I think it's a proxy, so a little hard to see. But otherwise, yeah.
Having the, I think I had Sunken Treasure last round or the round before. Having this here would have been sick, because he's actually hitting me. And then I could have turned over one of the,
we don't have Justin's deck list available to us right yet,
what's it called?
I would not be surprised to see, in addition
the
to
yellow tipple in my bin.
Perhaps 3 Rune Rager Swarms as well, just to be able to have the sort of turns that we're seeing, where you can go multiple chain links wide, which again is not something that Florian is traditionally super well equipped to do. So Pheno here leading off with another
Conqueror of the
High Seas. I almost called it Command and Conquer. Going to place a lot of pressure here on Justin's arsenal yet again, but again, no text here regarding the prevention of a defense reaction. So maybe Justin's parked, been a little heads up there and parked a.
Gotta remind people of that.
Let's see.
Certainly what he wants to be doing, especially because he has not had a single decompose yet this game.
Mm-hmm. But he's tanking on it, so it's making me feel like it's 9. Oh, there he goes, deploying the Face Purgatory.
And what a great use of it that is. In this case, Pheno did not keep a card in hand. Luckily able to play around that Face Purgatory a little bit. Justin just trying to capitalize on the draw clause of that card, see if he can smooth his hand out just a little bit. He's going to keep it hidden from us, but that's okay, because we can be on the side of Pheno as well and just wait for what is to come. Right now it's a trot along in the pitch. Yes, indeed, an activation of Grasp of the Arcanite, and sending Cadaverous Tilling. What a great way to start your decomposition.
Yeah, he heard you saying he wasn't decomposing and answered roundly. So he'll have 2 there.
Sunken Treasure again would have been great here.
Minigame. As he presents 1 true damage.
I just need a way to make gold.
Physical damage. I'll be curious to see how much.
I think I'm not playing 1 tipple, so I have all but 1 way to actually make gold in the deck.
Pheno chooses to block out.
Unlucky.
8 coming back to Pheno in the form of a bit of a less threatening attack here after he threw 8 at the Brother of Gottlieb. Pheno checks the top of the deck with that Compass of the Sunken Depths. Still contemplating how to deal with this 8. Looks like there's a... Yeah, it's all blocking cards in the hand of pheanoblack. Not really finding too many allies right now. The only yellow there is the Prismatic Leyline.
It looks like we might have the Riches of Tropical Donny, perhaps. It's a little hard to tell from our angle on the camera here, but that would be one, albeit not a blocking card, but a card you're very happy to see as current.
I think this was a game where I had a yellow on top, and I just said, send it with the Charter Course, I just need gold.
High Seas heroes that you're sort of...
And I hit double ally, and I'm like, I can play the game finally.
First instance, because each of these decks really needs that.
Tip the Barkeep, the only blocking card there, which means that Pheno descends on down to 31. He's got 4 life points separating him from Justin Gottlieb, and Justin bought himself a little bit of extra time on that 40-turn clock from the Grasp of the Arcanite.
One of the things I really find interesting about Gravy is I wonder if you're the Gravy player and you use Compass, are you ever in a situation where you're traditionally doing it on your opponent's turn where you're like, wow, I've completely forgotten. Now that we're on my turn. And of course, that information's no longer good because the Call to Grave will shuffle. And we have our first chum of the game. I sort of feel, I would imagine, that Florian is decently well.
I don't remember what was on top of my deck, but if it was a yellow, I'm supposed to play that chart, I think. If it's a yellow or a blue, I just play the chart.
Care of a chum? Do you have any thoughts on that, Bryce?
I think
because I have the resources
when
to play anything.
Is able to resolve both chum and another ally.
Do I think Gravy will be in the meta for a while? Would it be a smart to invest time into him? I mean, that's why I'm investing time into him. I think Gravy is inherently incredibly powerful, and does a lot of unfair things, and asks a lot of difficult questions of the opponent. And it's the type of deck that I think you're going to get really rewarded for by having experience on the deck and putting the time in to learn it. And that's exactly the type of shit that I like to play. It's why I loved playing Dromai. It was a deck that macro game plans were incredibly important on, and games went long, so you were able to see most of your deck. This feels very similar to that. So I'm willing to invest the time into this hero to have something that's going to pay dividends over the course of the next year or so. So yes, I think it's worth investing the time. Gravy's very powerful. Just like in a vacuum at a baseline, the math of what you're doing is insane. You have such above rate turns if your deck is functioning. So it's just a question of solving the puzzle of getting your deck to function.
Because I think
No, it's not close to Enigma. Enigma. Enigma, you just played math with your opponent, and then would have a spot during games where you do your funny turn, and then your opponent just didn't get to play the game ever again. And you just like did a broken thing with your hat and Maragai and lock them out of the game. And if it didn't lock them out of the game, it put enough damage into them that the second time you did it, it locked them out of the game. It was basically a game where everything devolved down to one turn. Where that's not really what you're doing with Gravy. You're doing a very similar thing to what Dromai did, of just getting incredible value with your allies while asking your opponent very difficult questions, because they have to deal with your shit every turn. And if they can't do it, then the game falls apart. So you just get like some amount of free wins off of, oh shit, I can't clear your board. Fuck, I lose. As on top of the fact that even if they did clear your board every turn, the math of what you're doing is insane. Like Chum is, if you don't count the blue that you play to enable the ability to play him out of the bin, if we don't count that, because some amount of the time the blue that you're playing is just a card that's on rate, like a Rabble or something. So let's forget about that for a second. Activating Dead Threads, pitching a blue, and playing Chum is a 1-card 10. The math of that is insane. I don't care about the text on it. I don't care about anything else. It's a 1-card 10. That's nuts. That's Codex level power. And you have access to infinite turns like that in the deck. You are doing fundamentally broken things mathematically in the deck. And then we look at the effects on the cards as well. And you have so much card filtering and skill expression in what you're doing that it lends itself to a very experienced player getting a lot of edge with the hero. I'm obviously not there yet. This game is like game number 6 with the hero. We're not there yet. I'm still sub 50 games with the hero. We're not there yet. By the time Worlds comes around, though, hopefully I'll be there.
Being kind of not really an action point rich deck, you have issues removing both the Chum and...
We got gold, gamers!
Following up that Call to the Grave with a Chart the High Seas, hitting 2 cards, not the 2 that he probably wanted. He's going to generate 2.
No, I'm so happy about this.
He found 2
I
yellows
have
on
gold.
the top, so no extra pitch there. Pheno giving a bit of a laugh, thinking, yeah, I really wanted that to be a blue pitch.
No, I was ecstatic that I hit 2 yellows there. I was like, that is the best hit I could have had in the deck here. My deck finally functions.
Left to use, and he's got an Anka in the grave.
Because, like, my perception of the matchup is if my deck is doing the thing, I should always win. So I just need to make sure my deck is functioning. I will give up a little bit of math to make sure that my deck functions.
As well as Chum, yes, it's going to be a pitch of the Riches of Tropal Donny to generate a gold token and also resolve Anka, drag under. An activation of the Dead Thread and the gold baited hook means that Anka is coming in for 5 on hit, create a gold token.
And do you think, Pheno flashed us that sign, let us know he's still learning this deck, so absolutely no criticism of the play so far. But do you think maybe, in that case, if you're the Gravy player and you have the Call to the Grave in your hand, maybe you hold off on using Compass until after you've resolved the Call to the Grave?
I'm sure that Compass is like a huge part of understanding the Gravy matchup, at least as the pilot. Like, when do I Compass? If I have
I don't actually know if I was supposed to Compass there or not. I still don't know. Because I call Chart and he's attacking me. So it's like kind of nice to know what's on top, to know how I want to block this, and if I can use all these resources to know whether or not this chart is going to hit. I think, though, if it's a blue... I'm supposed to peek to see if it's a red on top. And if it's a red on top, then I think I want to call. Because I have no way to put the red on top into my hand. But if it's anything other than a red, I think I just play the chart. And otherwise, I play the call to shuffle. I just want to make sure that the coast is clear for the chart, basically, because I just can't afford to hit a red off of that.
I should definitely activate Gravy first.
I don't know if that's what I did in this moment, to be honest. I don't remember anymore. But, like, right now, that's my current thought on how I should be compassing. But that could be wrong. But I don't know what I'm supposed to do there otherwise. I guess I just decide whether or not I want to block for 3 with the tip, because I can still play that tip, like, whatever. And just always play the call, then play the compass, then chart. I don't know what's correct there, and that's going to take a while for me to figure out.
Matter what's on top of the deck, I'm activating Gravy no matter what, so I might as well wait and see what's on top of the deck later. It's really contextual based on your hand, I think, based on my experience in the limited environment, but it's definitely one of those things that separates a good Gravy player from a masterful Gravy player.
Gotcha. Well, I would love to be.
This is me not knowing where I want to put my guys still. I cannot get a feel for where I want to put my guys. Currently, I changed what I'm doing, and I'm putting my gold on the other side of the table. And then you'll see later I make some mistakes with my tipples, and this is another reason why I'm doing that. So that way my pitch is closer to the gold, so it's a cleaner motion, and then my gold is closer to my deck, so I remember to draw a card. So just like my hand motion is all concentrated in this area. So I'm not like reaching halfway across the table to my gold. But also, I'm using the gold as a divider between my allies in the graveyard and my allies in play, so there's this really clear division. Like, anything that is on this side of the gold is not in play. It's a little visually easier.
A nice, enabler of a go wide turn here in E-Strike up in Justin's hand.
And Justin descends on down to 30. The life totals swing this way and that. Justin is at 31 here. 31 plays 31 as we lead off with a Arcane Seeds life. That's probably why he added +1 to that life total there. 2 rune chance generated off of the Arcane Seeds, part of that meld card, and of course a Swarming Gloomveil, the second of this game, coming at pheanoblack. 2 modes active here, so 4 go again.
No life gain.
Leaks right on through as Pheano decides how to block this out.
The benefit of
and
losing.
Sunken Treasure in Pheano's hand here. I'm not sure Justin has played any yellows thus far, or if he even has yellows to play, so don't know if it really behooves Pheano to hang on to that card to try to get the gold value out of it. He is, of course, quite gold rich at this moment, but as I find in late games, Gravies tend to sort of do some pitch fishing and end up very quickly from having 4 or 5 gold to 1 or even 0. So
I think maybe I'm supposed to block with it. Depends on if I need the resources, but like here's another thing that I kind of figured afterwards is just getting them out of the deck so I don't have these stupid ass block cards in my stack later on, because they just don't do anything when I'm trying to go for the kill. And the gold is less valuable at that point of the game on top of that. So I think I'm supposed to block with it on this turn, but it might not necessarily be on the swarming, depending on if I need all the resources. Odds are I don't need all the resources though.
Maybe valuing holding on to that card a bit longer.
Wow, I'm seeing double, if not triple. It's the 3rd Swarming Gloomveil coming out of the hand of Justin Gottlieb, which means that his deck is even more starved for action points at this point, but he is really putting the hurt on
I do
Black.
think that he was
10
supposed to play
now
Tunic if he
after the Reaping Blade and
is
third and
on
final
Tunic
Swarming
in his
Gloomveil.
deck list.
It's back over to Pheano, 21 plays 31.
Being able to Tunic
One of
Reaping Blade is
Justin
nice.
His deck has issues going wide and has just and has just completely dispelled any notion.
Okay, so I did not forget there.
Because he's doing an excellent job so far, and not just clearing up allies, but Pheano is pretty close to half life at this point. So I think Justin doing a pretty good job of navigating the matchup thus far. Albeit Pheano does have maybe one of his scarier allies in graveyard at his disposal.
Golden Tipple, the first one resolved on the side of pheanoblack, comes in the red. 3 go again, shored up by a channel, the Millennium Tree. Pheano then activating Gravy Bones, immediately removing that gold token generated by the Golden Tipple and discarding a Whaler Humperdinck, one of those cards that really make Florian players tremble. I mean, like, you do not want to be fiddling around too long when one of those is on the board. That's probably going to require an entire turn from Justin Gottlieb to remove.
This Humperdinck sat in grave all game. I was looking for a turn at any point to basically play this after this. And then we got to, like, super late game, and he just plays his first gravekeeping of the game, and I was like, where did this come from? And it was on the turn that I was planning on playing it. I was mauling.
If Pheano is able to establish it.
I just never had the resources to play it.
Blocking with his channel, the Millennium Tree there, which is maybe, I guess not, maybe the Channel Mount Heroic, a way to do it. I suppose an E-Strike 2-card hand could also take care of a Whaler, but my point is more so, it does take some sort of finesse to be able to answer that cleanly. It's not a guarantee on any matchup, so a very scary ally to have, and perhaps Pheano electing to save it for the end game, which is when it's at its most ferocious.
Flying high into Resolve Anka, Swing Anka for pheanoblack. This one is backed up by that gold-baited hook. It's 5 go again thanks to that Flying High. Does not have the buff because it's not blue, but it is threatening a gold token thanks to that gold-baited hook. And Justin in the tank. Let's see what he's working with.
Actually, could I just play this turn? Is this card a blue? I'm just going to skip forward till my arsenal's gone. I just want to see what it is. No, it's a red. Okay. Yeah, we're short on doing it. We got 9 resources. If this was a blue, I think I'd just play the hump and just say have it. I agree that it's a win more card. The way that I'm viewing it, though, is a one-head way to beat fatigue decks. And I think there's a lot of value in that, especially in these long, protracted, highly complicated games, to just have a simple way to win the game. One of the easiest ways to lose games to fatigue is having an overly complicated strategy into them. This was a mistake that I learned at calling / nationals not Indianapolis, Charlotte, I think it was. Whatever the second nationals was that was for the Uprising season. This is the one that Hamilton won nationals. I played Dromai at that event, and I ended up getting, I think, 9th place at the calling, and I lost my win in because my strategy was too complicated, and I made a mistake. I had been doing the strategy all day, and I had mentally fatigued myself. So one of the parts of my fatigue strategy, this is into the Oldhams. The Oldhams were sometimes playing Expose the Elements to kill my Ghostly Touch. And the strategy was super complicated into that matchup because the Oldhams were playing the matchup 3 to 4 different ways, and I had to play in such a way to hedge for all of them. But the specific piece of the strategy for the Ghostly Touch was to cycle my arsenal every single turn of the game. My strategy was play my hand in such a way that I always end my turn with 1 card in hand. And that card is going to go in my arsenal. And every turn, I will cycle that card out of the arsenal and replace it with a new card in hand. I will never let a card sit in my arsenal for more than 1 turn. The reason being was to play around Expose. If I have a card in hand that can't expose me, it's either a blue, and I'm just going to pay for it, or I will respond with Furnace, pitching that card, making 2 resources, and pay for it. And I forgot the strategy. I've been doing this all day. It was very taxing to map my hands out like that. And literally first turn of the game, I forgot to do that. And I immediately got exposed on the first turn of the game. And the game came down to the wire. And if I hadn't done that, I would have won that game. And after that, I made sure that I never have an overly complicated anti-fatigue strategy. Now, in the case of Gravy Bones, I think you can probably win the game very easily without that. And I don't know how complicated it's going to be without it, but right now it's kind of an easy mode button for me to have in the deck while I'm still learning. It's a crutch. It's probably going to get cut over time as I learn that matchup more. Probably doesn't end up in the final build, but I do think Humperdinck is incredibly powerful. Like, at its base, if you just look at the health to damage to cost, it's a 4-card 18. That's still really good. It's just not trivial to cast. You have to have 4 blues.
The go again, right? So, likely going to play out another ally here, or at least that's what I would think. So maybe Justin figuring, my next turn, this tree is maybe just going out an ally anyway, so I might as well shore up some damage.
Yeah, and this is that board state.
Yeah, if you look at my deck list for the Nationals that I topped the year after, my anti-fatigue strategy in the deck was significantly simpler. It was a larger package, but I basically made it so I just don't have to think about how I beat fatigue. I had triple Dominion, not triple Dominion, I had triple Uvia and 2 or 3 Remembrance. I just said 1 head strategy activate. I think I also had 2 Dust for Chromai or something, I don't remember. I just was like, you know what, whatever. We're just gonna make a million Ashwings and call it a day. And I have these. I don't have to care about conserving resources in my deck, which was like a big part of the fatigue matchups as Dromai. Of you could just lose the game because you drew all of your Marah guys and Chromais together way too early in the game. If you play them, you probably lose the game. If you block with them, you definitely lose the game. What am I going to pitch to? I don't have anything else in my hand to play, so I can't even pitch these. What do I do? And having the extra remembrances basically just made it so I didn't have to consider deck resources in any way. I just ooga booga play my cards, and I just don't have to think about it. So the Humperdinck, very similar. I'm just not going to think about it. I'm just going to have this card, 1 card win condition, ook ook ook.
It's much more difficult for Florian to answer because a lot of those action point turn extenders have already been used out of the deck, and Pheno has himself not only an Anka Drag Under, but also a Chum, thanks to drawing another blue off of a gold and activating Dead Threads on the previous turn. So that is 9 points of life that you need to address on your opponent's board before you go towards that life total any further.
And Justin finding himself in the position I find myself in quite frequently, which is what I call the what does this one do again position, as he has to read the life totals on the Chum and the Anka here. I believe Chum having 6, if I'm correct, and Anka
I wasn't
5?
sure if he
Three life.
Okay.
needed
See,
to read
we're
them,
learning.
but he just like
So,
was kind of
I
looking at my
imagine
board, so I was like,
Justin-
I'm just gonna
Chum
you read my
is
cards.
canonical.
If you have a question, let me
So
know.
I imagine Justin's starting to look like clear up Chum and live to fight another day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be swing this Felling of the Crown at Chum, unfortunately. Decompose is not going to be a problem here because we've seen 2 Earth cards enter the grave just on that previous turn. And Justin going aggressive with it. He's going to find 3 Earth cards out of the grave. He's not worried about being Earth card rich in his graveyard this game, ascending to 5 Earth cards in the Banished Zone, and he's only 1 Decompose away from turning on that Florian hero ability.
And it's great that he does still get the way Fouling is the wording is templated. He still makes Pheno tuck here. It's not as if he had to have targeted Pheno to be able to get it. So getting his value from Fouling, and I think showing.
I'm just telling him, like,
why
if you,
Florian
I'm
and
just
Jordan are
still
so
thinking
strong
about the
because they
trigger.
have access to that powerful card.
Oh, and the third Channel the Millennium Tree finds its way into the hand of Justin Gottlieb after drawing a second copy of Felling of the Crown. So he's a little bit red-locked here. His cards are clumping in a way that I kind of haven't seen in a long time. I mean, all 3 Swarming Gloom Veils were resolved in 2 turns. All 3 Channel of the Millennium Trees found in 2 turn cycles.
Yeah, and he's got 2 Fouling. Yeah, did you say Foulings? Well, he has 2 Foulings as well. It's a classic case of maybe round 1 didn't shuffle well enough, but here we're in round 2, so clearly that's not the case. Nevertheless.
Oh, is this the turn that I misplayed with my
after this
Loot the
block,
Hold?
Justin will be without.
There's a turn where I Loot the Hold on my Conqueror of the High Seas, I think, and I'm like, that's not what that card does.
Which is
God
probably
damn
the
it.
easiest way of closing out the late game.
Golden
No,
Tipple is
no,
covered
it's
up by
not
that
this
third
turn.
copy of Channel of the Millennium Tree. Pheanoblack checks the top of the deck. It's another Golden Tipple. Couldn't quite catch what color it was, but he does want to draw it.
Oh, maybe it is.
He pops 1 gold in order to draw that Golden Tipple. Looks like it's the 3rd red in the deck, but he doesn't have an outlet for it. Perhaps destined for the arsenal here. And yeah, it's a Sunken Treasure, a Loot the Hold, and that 3rd copy of red Golden Tipple for Pheanoblack here. He's got 2 allies in the bin. Yes, it's a Loot the Hold into Limpet Hop Along and swinging Limpet Hop.
Oh, that's what it
2
was. I
goes-
was trying to figure out how to get this Loot the Hold on something else, because I don't want to put Loot the Hold on a 2-power attack, but I just, like, there was no way for me to actually play a blue here where that made sense. Maybe I'm supposed to just play the port side exchange instead of playing the tipple. And then I just arsenal the tipple instead of cracking gold. That's probably better.
Again, threatening a discard for Justin Gottlieb and also a gold token on hit.
Loot the Hold has got to be the most nasty of the go again enablers. In that, you know, you're tempted whenever a gravy can give their ally go again. It's a little bit unfortunate on the other side.
Go again will be conferred by Limpet Hop Along's text. She just has go again. Loot the Hold just confers the disruptive text.
Gotcha.
Discard a card on hit and create a gold token.
Well, yeah.
The follow up here is activate gold baited hook and swing Anka Drag Under 5 power physical at Justin Gottlieb, threatening a gold token generation thanks to that hook. And yeah, it does look like the last copy of Golden Tipple is destined for the arsenal for Pheanoblack.
Here, Justin blocking. I believe he's got 2 cards in hand here, so maybe just price into clearing up one of these allies.
It is a Felling of the Crown in hand. Does he have a card behind that? I don't think he does.
Maybe just going to pitch stack it and swing his sword here to clean up Limpet would be, or I'm sorry, Anka, right?
Right,
'Cause
Anka,
Anka
yeah.
has at 3 life.
Are you an Anka guy?
No, you probably killed
I
the
think I'm
Limpet,
an
right?
Anka guy just based on reflex. But in either case, it's dead now, or I guess permanently dead. Whatever happens after the Risen go back. But I like this play by Justin. You knew he was going to have his turn was going to be just 1 swing anyway. So why not keep your most powerful endgame card, especially now that your Channel of the Millennium Trees are all in the past?
And also go ahead and keep the board state in check, removing that what I would say Anka, because it kind of sounds more like anchor.
You know what? That's probably right.
Yeah, this was a spot where I wanted to play Humperdinck, but I didn't have a blue to enable it, and I believe my hand is all blues, but I don't have a blue to play to enable turning him on, and it's a red here and it's a red here, I would have just activated Hero Power to discard a blue and then just draw a blue, but if it's a red on top, so that doesn't work. If I had a yellow, that would have also potentially worked, but because then I could dead threads, but I'd still have to play a blue, so just so awkward. Like, I finally have an all blue hand and I can't do the thing.
Right, but I've already pinned myself down and I'm not going to back down.
I respect that about you, Patrick.
And then I
That's
don't
what makes you so
have
easy.
guys to play in my graveyard right now, so like playing these blues doesn't like actually let me do anything.
pheanoblack lining up a blue card in the pitch zone. He's got 4 cards in hand and 1 in the arsenal with which to work. Has he found himself
Just
an
another
ally?
awkward turn.
No, indeed. So that golden tipple in the arsenal kind of rotting alongside his zombie friends. What is he going to do with this turn?
Well, starting off with some gold, some classic hand fixing on the side of Gravy here, and not a bad draw.
We saw Noah Bagelman draw a Wrath of Retribution.
Yeah, this is the turn where I made a misplay.
Of the high seas
but I think that
after popping a gold
would have gone over
yeah,
onto the
like
limpet, right?
He's going to be active here. I tend to think that he is lining up this Conqueror of the High Seas. No, first it's going to be one more draw off the top of the deck. Fighting an Avast-G. That is a go-again enabler for our allies.
And I think maybe Pheno...
Do I have the resources to do it now? I play card or a Hero Power, honestly. This is 6. No, I need one more thing, right? Because I have to play or discard a blue. And then this is 6, 7, 8, 9 resources, so I need one more blue here. Or draw discard into a blue, and I believe that would do it. Because then this would be 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's still not enough.
Here just really hoping to see a yellow for the follow-up tipple. I'm maybe thinking lead with the tipple, follow up with the Conqueror of the High Seas, and then start your sort of ally shenanigans, but thus far, no luck.
Man, he is blue rich, though. There's 2 still floating in the pitch. Yeah, we're going to start off with Limpet Hop Along. I like this play. You want to hide as much information as possible. It's like when you're playing Dromai, you wanted to send Ashwings here and there whenever you could before the big dragons come in, or that final Haymaker of like a Command & Conquer Cadaverous Contraband.
Yeah, I agree. Anything you can do to present your opponent with an opportunity to step on their own foot, you definitely want to capitalize on that here. And earning himself a whole card, so 1 point of value sort of generated in quotation marks there.
Yeah, Justin might be stepping on his own feet, like you were mentioning. His dancing shoes not doing so well because the follow-up here is probably going to be Conqueror of the High Seas, threatening that arsenal and even more gold for pheanoblack. But how is he going to sequence this turn? Looks like the Avast-G does find its way into the pitch zone. No more floating after 3 cards have been pitched. It's Conqueror of the High Seas. 8, go again. And Justin is not looking happy about it here.
Yeah, and you got to think, Justin, if Pheno had led with the Conqueror, maybe would have preferred not to have committed the Autumn Touch to the Limpet block. I'm speculating. I don't know quite what's in Justin's hand, but I might imagine, because 8 damage is going to his boots of Autumn Touch.
Watch.
Nice and hot. Quite block that last 2 points of damage.
Yeah, usually you want a more cheeky play for the well-grounded. In this case, however, it is blocking 2 damage and also saving you at least 3 value from that card in Arsenal. Looks like Justin really wants to protect it. And I generally think it's the one copy of Channel Mount Heroic for these Florian decks nowadays, so I tend to think it's not one of those in the Arsenal. Time will tell. Let's see if Justin is able to ever resolve it. And putting the 4th blue into the pitch zone this turn, despite the fact that he still has 2 cards in hand and the 1 in Arsenal.
Yeah, wondering. It would be great for Pheno if he could place another ally. Just 1 swing.
The gas keeps on coming. It's Loot the Hold into Golden Tipple. There is no discard here for Pheno, so no gold generated. And
Yeah, this is I should have put the Loot the Hold on the Limpet, but it doesn't really matter. I just wasted a card here for no reason.
Just wants to put as much hurt on Justin as possible. Wow, playing out Loot the Hold and not resolving an ally there. Also, Pheno put his Limpet Hop Along into the graveyard.
Yeah, hopefully
I think that was a mistake. Yeah, Justin is being a good mannered gentleman and helping him out.
He's like, I'm about to kill that, so just wait 5 seconds for me to do it.
She'll go to her watery grave, I promise you that.
Yeah, this is me memeing on him. Yes. Make me pull my guy out just to kill it.
Activation of Grasp of Dark Knight, Swing Reaping Blade into Limpet Hop Along and shoring up that board state. It is curious. Pheno is still sitting on that Whaler Humperdinck, probably waiting for the moment that Give No Quarter rears its head out of the deck. But I tend to think that was a potential opportunity to establish that really fearsome ally, and even swing with it. I mean, he had so many cards in the pitch zone.
Yeah, maybe saving it making the choice to save it for the late game as well.
Nope, my hand just literally couldn't cast it.
Here it looks like we're starting off with the Gravy activation. Maybe filter out some of those. We got at least 1 here.
I kept having 9 resources because I couldn't play a blue. If I had a Give No Quarter and unlocked it.
Himself with a Prismatic Leyline, one of those cards that can push massive amounts of damage in this Gravy Bones deck. But he's already seen all 3 copies of Red Golden Tipple and also 2 copies of Conqueror of the High Seas. So probably not going to get the maximum 6 value on that Prismatic Leyline, but nevertheless, if you can swing 1 blue and a yellow, that is still plenty for your troubles.
That's 5, right? It's inverse, so
correct.
Not a bad card at a yellow pitch, nonetheless. One of those cards that I heard a lot of smack talk said about it when it first was printed. I believe in Heavy Hitters, or was it part of Mistveil? In either case, not a lot of naysayers on that card. Seems like
So many
Chum is natural home in
allies.
this Gravy Bones deck.
Without a doubt. Chum, friendly first mate, going into the pitch zone for pheanoblack. A blue has entered the grave, even though it is represented on the combat chain here. That was that port
And
side
again,
exchange.
just like not
So
enough money to
all
play the
watery grave
thing.
cards in Pheno's graveyard are unlocked, but one more blue comes out of the hand. It's Murderous Rabble, finding a blue golden tipple off the top. Pheno still has not resolved that prismatic leyline, which means that he just didn't feel confident in doing so this turn, perhaps thinking that it is better destined for the arsenal.
Prismatic leyline.
Murderous Rabble comes in for 3 go again.
Yeah, an astute observation there, Bryce. I think.
Oh, does he think
I was
the
saying about
sea legs is
Rabble,
prismatic
but I'll
leyline?
reiterate here. It's really, I think, a testament to how strong this deck can be that this Murderous Rabble is able to be converted for a whole 3 points of damage, despite also being a blue pitch itself. So a card I've been very, very impressed with. Here, shortcutting a little bit, but playing out another golden tipple to create another gold and draw a card.
So it was paid for. Chum paid for the gold token to draw a card. Dead Threads then paid for that blue golden tipple. 1 damage comes across to Justin, who descends on down to 23. Currently 20 plays 23 in the favor of our Rotwood Harbinger, but man, those allies are being amassed in the graveyard. He's got to be trembling in his boots for what is to come.
Yeah, if I believe when Justin sees a Give No Quarter played out of Pheno's hand, maybe his heart will sink, or at least mine would, because just the amount
Give No
of pressure
Quarter
Boston
would have
will be.
gone
That being
real
said,
hard
we can
this
see
game.
Pheno's hand. It's not there at this time, at least.
And this is exactly what you want to see if you're on Justin's side of the board. Even though Pheno has 4 allies with which to work in the graveyard, he's pitching a ton of yellows. So the maximum pain is probably not going to be on offer here right now. It's just resolve, Rigor Mortis, swing, Rigor Mortis, 6 power with the gold baited hook. A proposition that has no downside for Pheno because he has already created a gold token on this turn.
And I think it's playing against Gravy. One of the key decision points is when am I blocking out gold-bladed hook triggers when a gold has already been created? At what point is it worth blocking out a card that I would not have otherwise blocked out because of the on-hit for gold that it presents? And I think it's really relevant to how much gold they already have. Here, Justin noting Pheno's already at 2, maybe not seeing a huge difference between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think
And what he
Leyline
sees
is
difference in, however, is his
pretty reasonable. Austin was playing that in his list, and then he was recycling it with Scuba, so that way he just keep generating 5 value over the course of the game with it. I think that was pretty cute. I don't necessarily like it because it doesn't fulfill any of the roles that I really want my cards to fill in the deck. I basically want all of my cards to be engine pieces so that my deck functions, and it doesn't actually enable anything in the deck. It's just a math card. And I don't really want math cards unless the card's broken. Like, the only math card I'm really willing to play in the deck is Conqueror the High Seas. And that card's broken. I'm willing to play a broken card. I don't think Leyline is broken. It's just good number.
Heroes text box, because finally there is something written there. This Rootbound Carapace in the red, after decomposing 3 Earth cards, is going to bring Florian Rotwood Harbinger online, which means that every time Justin creates an Aura token, he's going to create an additional one for his troubles. Players confirming life totals here, making sure that everything is above board and lined up.
Just in general, because it's incredibly above rate, but because, as we noted at the start of the match, Pheno has no AB. So that's going to be turn everything from 1 true damage to 2 true damage every single turn. And I think, not the fastest clock, but presents a real clock that
Stealing my
Justin
dice.
does the ally clearing minigame.
And hey, if we're talking about a clock, what was previously a 20-turn clock is now a 10-turn clock. And also, Justin has found himself an action point generator here. Rune Ranger Swarm looks like 3 damage coming at pheanoblack right now. 3 go again, probably going to be followed up with the Reaping Blade to clear out Rigor Mortis, but time will tell as Pheno tanks on blocks.
And you said earlier today that you expect only 1 Channel Mount Heroic from most Florian builds. I wonder if this new texture of build would warrant the inclusion of more than 1. Just because if you're playing that many Rune Ranger Swarms and E-Strikes and the like, you wonder if you can't get a ton of value from that.
Either way, Pheno trying to cash in the value that he can right now. Gold-baited hook blocks 1 on Rune Ranger Swarm when there was no relevant on-hit. Pheno perhaps detecting the moment is nigh when he's going to have to start aggressively activating that hook.
I just want to make sure that I actually get the block out of this, because there's a chance that he never attacks me again with a physical attack, and I die to Rune Chance only. So I just want to make sure this physically happens. Life totals should be what's on... Oh, sorry, that's being cut off. My bad. There you go, chat. Sorry.
The defensive value if he loses it. Justin earning a little bit of damage here and also clearing up one of those zombies. Pheanoblack down to 6.
Yeah, who thought
as he
Felling
activates
would
Gravy
go
Bones
again
and
was a
discards
reasonable
Sawbones
card?
out of the hand. That was his only ally going into this turn, and now yes, he has found himself with 4 blues in the hand.
And Bryce, one of them that he drew is a Give No Quarter, in addition to, I think he just showed us a Give No Quarter in his arsenal. So I think Armageddon has is that not right?
It was an Avast Yi in the arsenal, which still is really, really bad for Justin, which means that not only is Pheno going to be able to resolve some really discounted allies on this turn, he's also going to be able to give them go again and swing super hard. This might be the moment when we finally see Whaler Humperdinck.
This is what Pheno has been playing for. There's the heart sink moment I was talking about a bit ago.
I'm just supposed to play Whaler here. This is a misplay. This is me getting greedy, wanting to put 2 guys on the board. Yeah, I just play Give No Quarter, pitch 3 of these cards and arsenal 1 of them, swing the Whaler, move on with life. This is massive misplay. It's not massive. Like, the Whaler sitting there is going to be good eventually. Surely I eventually get to cast it, and I'm not, like, expecting graveyard hate out of his deck at this point in the game. Where, like, how far in, I haven't seen an ounce of graveyard hate.
Which of these allies Pheno is able to deploy, but they will come out, and likely more than one.
Pheno checking the top of the deck, perhaps.
I guess I'm just tunnel visioning on I want to make sure the Whaler is my win condition to kill him.
See if he wanted to resolve that Chart the High Seas. He did find the blue, but...
Oh, no, I did just play it. Okay. Maybe I have another Whaler in the deck or something? I thought he Gravekeeping'd this.
That blue card in the pitch. Whaler Humperdinck resolved here, thanks to the fact that Give No Quarter has essentially pitched for 3. Pheno then putting 2 additional blues in.
Maybe I'm mixing up my games.
Whaler Humperdinck. There's no
I thought he Gravekeeping'd it.
Save for the one that could be generated by Dead Threads, because yes, Sawbones has...
Oh, no. I had 2 in the list at the time, and he Gravekeeping'd the second one.
Go again.
Yeah, and that's just more than half of Justin's life total. So, I mean, I think the math you do on the other side of this is you say, which of these cards do I need to clear out this ally to the extent I can, and I think you block the rest.
And I think that leftmost card is a Cadaverous.
And this is sick too, because it lets me get a
removal of that Whaler Humperdinck. The question now is
Sawbones into play.
Go on offense here. The worst case scenario for Justin, which is entirely possible in Florian, is that he has a hand that literally cannot do 7 damage and remove this fearsome ally. In this case, he can be bailed out by that leftmost card in hand.
Big news for the Justin fans out there. I will say, and I'm relying on you here as the gravy connoisseur. This Vivacity does present a on hit, right? Which one is that again?
It's on hit gold token. The most important part of that card is that it gives this ally attack go again.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Which means that Pheno will be able to resolve, based on the heroes that the allies that he has in grave, all he has access to is resolving a Limpet Hop Along after this attack goes through, and go through it has Justin descends all the way down to 14, now at a 2 life deficit, to Dr. Bones on the other side of the table. Give No Quarter was resolved, so with Dead Threads, Pheno can resolve Chum, friendly first mate. And
Am I supposed to play Sawbones here instead? If I play Sawbones and he plays a 7 power attack, then that he just can't do that. He has to have an 8. Maybe that's the play. Maybe I base it on how many cards he has in his hand after blocking. I think he has 3 cards because he blocked with just a D-React. Because if he keeps a big hand, maybe I go for the Chum, so that way if he plays a Go Again attack at him, I can redirect afterwards.
Incredibly clean turn and a fearsome board for Justin now to deal with.
And this is brutal now, because if Justin plays out the Arcane Seed's life before trying to kill Whaler Humperdinck, Pheno can respond by using...
Well, I was talking about cutting Whalers in the future. I actually like the card right now while I'm still learning the deck, because it's a crutch.
Chum, and meaning, hey, you're not...
I desire a crutch right now while I'm learning.
If that's something that Justin accounted for when doing his blocking now.
It doesn't look like Pheno has an ally in hand, though, so he wouldn't have been able to do that. Justin, however, making the very heads-up play of just swinging the Cadaverous, tilling, and not...
Bro, Snag would have been crazy here. I think Snag just wins the game.
Risking an activation of Chum right there. So, bit of an IP penalty for the Gottlieb on the left side of your screen, but nevertheless, a strong play there. And yes, Patrick, there is another copy of Channel Mount Heroic in this Florian build, and Justin has just drawn it.
Okay, there's the Whaler that got Gravekeeping.
There's a card that pitches for 3, which is going to be a bit of a problem if he's going to send... It's a little hard to see that second card from the left, but...
It's a yellow, you're right. It's a Plow Under.
So, a little bit scary for Justin potentially here, especially if he's going to be... his hand otherwise would lend itself really well to cleanup duty.
Is that eye in my hand? I'm just supposed to crack gold here.
Not exactly cooperating
and not
for
compass.
Here, and you can see
this is wrong.
Head kind of turned down, gripping his cards like they are the last bastion for Justin clinging to life here. Pheno on the aggression here. 16 plays 14, only 13 minutes left in this round 2 of 6 at Arcane Games and Events, open in June, New England.
And that's another complexity of playing this gravy deck, because it seems so hard to play, and also your clock is not necessarily the fastest. So it's really, I think, quite punishing for the newer players to this deck to be able to figure out what are the best lines.
Yeah, this is a misplay. I'm supposed to crack gold.
Actually finish my match.
Avaschi goes into the grave, unlocks all of the Watery Grave allies, and then Pheno resolves Sawbones, pitching an Eye of Ophidia. Opting 2 right here, seeing what he sees, one of those cards revealed off the eye is Chart the High Seas and then Sea Legs, which means that Pheno could be lining up, with the help of some gold tokens, a nasty Chart the High Seas resolution. In this case, however, he's going to lead off with Sawbones. Dockhand coming in for 6 go again, thanks to the Avaschi resolved earlier this turn.
And Justin's going to need to do some noodling here on how he can convert this hand. Or he's mindful of the fact that he didn't had to issue himself an IP penalty essentially last turn because of some blocking, perhaps decisions that could have been a little bit more ideal. Maybe not wanting to make that same mistake again.
Blocking looks like 6 here, thanks to, thank you, 7. Thanks to Barkskin of the Millennium Tree being devoted to the block here. 2 embodiments of Earth generated there. Short up completely, which means that Pheno does not generate a gold token on that swing of the Sawbones. Following up with Limpet Hop Along. Should not have go again. No go again on the resolution of Limpet herself, which means that a card goes into the arsenal. Pheno has a bit of an IP penalty on his own, and it's back over to Justin to see if he can do a little bit of Left 4 Dead cosplay.
There I cracked the gold to make sure that my arsenal was like a reasonable card, because I had nothing that I could actually arsenal in my hand. I don't know if playing the Limpet here is correct. My thought was playing out a guy instead of swinging because he has the double embodiment in play and denying value on defense, where I'm just like not actually even going to connect with anything anyways. But maybe that's wrong. I'm not sure.
And kill some zombies.
Go an IP penalty for IP penalty trading here, and that's I find that's a situation that does happen quite a good amount, not just as Gravy, but blocking against the Gravy for the reasons that we've seen demonstrated for us so cleanly on stream here.
Looks like it's an activation of Chum here as the embodiments of Earth get destroyed. This is an important thing to note if you are an Earth player, folks. This was an interaction that was really important in the Icelander days. The embodiments of Earth that Briar would generate would pop at the beginning of the turn, thereby giving a priority window to the Ice Wizard for her to establish a Frostbite and really screw up your turn. So one of those interactions that you need to be incredibly aware of if you tend to generate embodiments of Earth. In this case, Pheno cashing in that opportunity to activate Chum.
I'm winning. He gained life.
No matter what Justin does on this turn, offensively, it's going to have to go at Chum.
Yeah, heads up play by Pheno there to understand that interaction. Justin still, nevertheless, will be able to leak damage to Pheno, and 4 damage, which is not, it's a quarter of Pheno's life here to place additional.
Don't do him dirty like that.
To attack this Chum.
Arcane Seed's life resolved here. 4 Rune Chants coming at pheanoblack.
Justin's his own person.
Swarm is going at Chum, friendly first mate, which means that, unfortunately, Justin is probably just going to have to activate Grasp of the Arcanite and swing Reaping Blade at Chum to clean up the rest of that ally. Pheno is going to have plenty to work with on his turn in terms of offensive capability, but the Rune Chants keep coming.
Yeah, and this is where not having a blue is also painful, because if that were a blue in his hand instead of a yellow, he could, I believe, use Grasp here before cleaning up Chum, which would have been another 2 damage.
I saw that you were playing some Gravy on stream.
A little bit disappointing for
How expensive was that deck?
Happy enough to just get rid of
Were you playing all the amulets just to flex?
And this is the difficulty that Florian and any slow deck faces into a board state monster like Gravy Bones. Looks like there was an activation of
Jesus. How many amulets? Were you playing all of them?
There. Gone to the bin is our friendly first mate. Pheno lines up a pitch card for his first action of the turn. No, indeed, it's going to be an activation of Gravy Bones instead.
I haven't gotten a good look at Pheno's hand here. Do we have any allies to play with? Looks like a bunch of non-allies to me.
I don't think we do. He does, however, have Sea Legs, one of those really interesting generics printed in High Seas.
That's fair.
To go ahead and discard that here, and yes, he does, to create himself a handle of rum.
I don't actually own a rum token at this point in the game. I was like, oh, I don't actually have one of these.
I think we are just confirming that gold tokens have been accounted for properly. Calling in our...
Oh, I think they were just looking for a rum token, maybe.
Ah.
And that's what this icy, princessy sort of token is replicating.
Makes sense to me. Pitching Riches of Tropal Donny for the second time this game, mind you, is pheanoblack to swing Limpet Hop Along. Gold token generated there. 2 go again, which
did I make my gold
on stream?
Okay, I did.
On down to 13. 13 plays 13, but this turn is far from over for pheanoblack. He's also drawn up that Diamond Amulet for the second time this turn, showing exactly how many times you can recur these the resources in the Gravy Bones deck because you're shuffling so much thanks to Call to the Grave and other effects like that.
You know what's the best part about playing a deck that shovels?
Okay, so Hamal, are you going to get the Pro Tour Gravy when that eventually is out in the wild? Omega Flex on people?
Right, Bryce?
What is it?
You don't have to learn how to pitch deck.
Oh, my friend, you are preaching to the choir. That's why I love playing Azalea so much. Every time I knock the Death Whistle, it means I don't have to skill gap my opponent.
I wonder if, and here we get the real gold Kiss Rum token here. I wonder if this turn presents the opportunity that we've sort of been...
Well, it's certainly not going to be me at Singapore. I'm not going.
I guess not. I'm wondering if we're going to see this Humperdinck before this game reaches a natural conclusion, or I guess this timer reaches a natural conclusion, because we are running quite low on time here.
Yeah, both players are going to have to keep up the pace. Honestly, the onus in that regard is on Gravy Bones here, because there are just so many more decision points for Gravy to consider than Florian in this position.
Yeah, and I wouldn't chance it to say I could read Justin's mind here, but I'm thinking Justin has a good hand that he already knows what to be doing with, just based on the energy he's giving out, and I wonder and we see the opportunity to go 2 chain links wide here at least with the East Viking.
I think another thing to look at this game, a long time ago, so we're at 51-27 right now. I want to go back to a decision I made way earlier in the game. It was that turn where I blocked with the thing. I think, is it this turn? It's this turn right here. I think this was actually a really impactful decision, blocking with this Tip the Barkeep. This was the only opportunity the entire game I had to resolve a Gold Kiss Rum without, like, negging value. I'm, like, technically negging value by not blocking with it, but every time I had a chance to do it later on in the game, it was I'm choosing between making a Gold Kiss or putting an ally in the bin when my bin is currently empty. Or, like, I would prefer to play the guy that's in my bin right now. And this cost me, I believe, quite a bit. Because I believe that this converted into 3 on defense, but it would have at some point converted into 6 on offense. Assuming that there was a turn that I didn't need to activate my hero. So that turn I didn't activate my hero, but I didn't have the money to do it. It definitely would have been live also if I hadn't ran out that Sawbones earlier in the game at the very beginning that I talked about as well. Uh, 51-27. Yeah, like maybe I don't hero power here, and then I don't feel priced into having to make this Gold Kiss Rum, because that's what I ended up doing. I just like discarded to make a Gold Kiss because I knew I was going to need that to win the game. And then because I don't do that, I get an extra 6 damage on the round, and it's kind of relevant. So I think I gave up 6 by doing that. That was a habit that I picked up from Joe Cologne. He always called it money, and then I find myself doing that partly out of the nostalgia because I miss him. He doesn't really play Fab anymore. He's doing bigger things with life right now. But he keeps popping into our group chat. It's like, anyone playing Riftbound? And everyone's like, Joe, I thought you quit card games. You don't quit card games. Nobody actually quits card games.
Right here, at least, with the E-Strike in hand. So this is a very interesting point for me in the game. At what point do you ignore the allies, or at what point do you just...
So I think that the worst case it just sits there is, I think this is actually like a really big deal that I saw this here. I think this was like a really big learning moment to have to show you guys. I think I was misevaluating the value of a rum token. I think that I was perceiving the value of a rum token as sub 1 full card. And if I'm getting a full card on defense and it's worth a sub full card on offense, then I should just block with it. And my perception was, this is just an extender for if my opponent is clearing my board. I'll block with this if you let me block, but if you leave me with a full grip because you cleared my board, I'll play it. Because it's free, I didn't have an option, I'll just play it. And seeing how this game played out, it's clear to me that at some point it was worth more than 1 full card. It was worth 6 at some point during this game. So, I think this is worth taking note of. I had an incorrect assumption. I didn't write the assumption down here, but let's go ahead and add an incorrect assumption section. I don't know if I would value it at 2 cards, but I understand what you're saying. But if I'm going to value it at 6, that's functionally 2 cards. I got to think on this more, and this is just something that I'm just going to stew on over the next couple days. But I think this was like a really big learning moment with the deck of just properly evaluating what is a Gold Kiss worth, and I probably still need to evaluate this more. But I think that decision there was probably a game-losing decision. I made like 3 game-losing decisions on the first like 2 to 3 turns of the game.
You start devoting your resources to clear them up. Sawbones is really hard to ignore because it's effectively.
I should have put the Diamond Amulet in play.
So I wonder here which Justin will play.
I should have played the Gold Kiss instead of blocking for 3, and I shouldn't have run out my graveyard on that turn.
Also a Diamond Amulet, which will buy him an action point and also unlock his graveyard whenever he chooses. In this case, Justin resolving an Enlightened Strike with Go again. This is really going to determine his strategy for the rest of this game, and there's just not much of it left. It's 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the clock. It looks like this E-Strike is going for Pheno, but we still have Rune Chance with which to deal, so time will tell.
I think that's right, Bryce. I think this is heading to Pheno. I think making the decision that I do not have the time in this game to be able to clear up your allies and then also kill Pheno. So it's I don't disagree with this. In either case, these players are going to have to make some quicker decisions, I think, here if we're going to see a natural conclusion.
Okay, down to 6 goes pheanoblack, and a Gravekeeping, a really juicy bit of tech coming out of.
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck did this come from? Gravekeeping this late in the game? Huh? Just actual last hand of the deck or some shit? Juiced the shit out of me.
That Whaler Hump
and
is just not going to get resolved.
if I remember correctly, this hand was like, oh, this just plays the Whaler? And I chose not to defend this, going, I'm just going to play the Whaler. And then he just ran the Whaler, and I'm like, oh no, my hand sucks now. I mean, I recently cut the Diamond Amulet from my deck, so I don't think it's really that necessary. But if you want to complain about spending $80, I think Hamal has a bitter complaint about how much he probably spent on his. Yeah, I'm currently not convinced that the items are actually that good. I think it's fine if that's a part of your strategy, but like you have so many different cards that you can play as your anti-fatigue strategy, like the Whalers. Like, I think ideally I would like to design the deck in such a way where I can beat fatigue with the cards that are essentially naturally in my deck, and not dedicate cards just for fatigue. And if I am, it's just dedicating some cards into like Warrior, essentially, just decks that are going to punch me and clear my board at the same time, basically. But I think in that case, it's just making sure you have go again attacks. Yeah, but if you have Gold Kiss, it's like, I didn't need this Diamond Amulet anyways. I think it's nice in spots that they're trying to like hyper fatigue you, and you really got to go crazy. But I think most of the time, playing a go again attack into whether or not you already have them in play, swinging 2 big allies, most of the time, if you're doing that regularly into fatigue decks, I think is good enough.
This game, so that's 2 that Justin has killed. 1 in the natural.
So just like consistently putting 2 guys on the board and getting like 15 damage is probably good enough.
Way of physical removal, in this case, a banish off of the text of Gravekeeping. And yeah, it definitely seems like Justin wants to put his pedal to the metal for the rest of this game.
A little bit disappointed that we won't be able to see the big Whaler Humperdinck come down in this game, but nevertheless.
We saw one.
Did we?
Yeah,
yes,
we already saw one.
We did. All right, fine. So I've been waiting on that second Whaler for quite a while, but nonetheless, spicy tech there from Justin. As I don't think Gravekeeping seems like the natural answer, the sort of pre-printed answer that LSS gave us to Gravy Bones. But
hey, Goblin, how's it going?
I have not seen anybody actually deploy one yet.
Do I have that in my maybe? I don't have it in my maybe. I don't think I would want this in the mirror. I don't think you should be going to fucking hyper fatigue in the mirror.
So it's interesting to see it here. That felt very effective.
Without a doubt. And that's definitely one of those cards that fits more into like the Ira mold because you've got those Kodachis. In the case,
if I remember correctly, Charles also had that. Or I guess it's not just Charles. We had a bunch of people on the team playing the deck. But we had that in the Briar deck as well, if I remember correctly. And maybe the Dory deck, but I don't remember.
case of Florian, who's usually action point starved, it can be a bit
pretty
clunky.
good. Better now that my
Especially
stream's
with
actually
the Dark
working.
Knight,
I don't know if you saw yesterday, but
it's back to Pheno, 6 plays 13
I started
here. So Pheno
streaming and then
blocked
my internet
out
just
the
died.
Gravekeeping with 2 Sunken Treasures. Pheno now swinging in Limpet, Hop Along, and drinking some rum in order to make this Sawbones come in for 6 go again.
And note that Pheno did not use the Sawbone prevention ability.
Well, it's like a real cost putting bricks like that in your deck. Because this deck has so many spots where it draws cards on its own turn. So having cards that are bad arsenals is a real detriment. You already have all the allies that are really shit arsenals. So having even more cards like that, like, really actually hurts the deck. I'm not huge on that. Like, I already don't want to play Sunken Treasure because of that. This is just such a terrible card to see off of Tipple. That's actually another heuristic that I think I might start doing. Activating Compass after playing Tipple, so I know if I should Hero Power or not. Because if I Hero Power and I draw into Sunken Treasure or something, I need to know that.
On his last turn. So clearly evincing an intent to attack him with not just one, but both Sawbones, which he's going to be able to do due to the extra action point generation he has available to him, both through the Gold Kiss from and from the end.
And both players at this point dropping all pretense and sending everything face. This just became a high-octane game in the last 3 minutes.
It sort of had to be, Bryce. These are two players who do not want to draw. They want to be able to win this game.
Well, this is me saying, I think my normal heuristic, if I look at my hand, and my plan would have been to go Tipple and then Hero Power, so I'm going to change the top of my deck twice. My plan, I think, normally would be to Compass after the second draw, so I know whether or not I want to crack gold to draw a card, or change what I'm going to Arsenal or pitch or something like that. But I'm saying, if I have an ally after Tippling, I should Compass there to know whether or not the top of my deck is a bauble. And that was not previously my heuristic. New heuristic. And then this changes whether or not I have a resource dump. Like, if I have like a Swabby or something in my bin, or as the card in my hand to discard, this doesn't really matter, because then any card I draw works, because I just want more resources. But in the cases where I ideally would like the card on top of my deck to go in Arsenal, this kind of matters. But if I was always activating my Hero Power, then it doesn't matter, and I should just dig one deeper, because it's not like I'm going to Arsenal an ally.
That's on display here.
Can't quite make out the rest of the hand for Justin Gottlieb, but he's got to have some offensive capability here. Pheno is definitely cashing in action points in order to do as much damage as possible. 6 plays 9, but Pheno is far from done. There's 2 cards in the hand. He's attempting to resolve a Chart the High Seas. It's 2 blues off the top. 1 goes into the pitch, 1 into the grave, and effectively that Chart the High Seas has just pitched for 3 at the cost of 2 cards in deck.
Not great. I mean, you do. I wonder if Pheno's fishing for an extra gold there to be able to draw towards a more natural endgame solution.
It might have been that last chum that he just drew off of a gold token that he was really looking for. Golden Tipple resolved out of the hand. It's in the blue, discarding chum friendly first mate, which means that Pheno is probably going to try to establish an even bigger board before swinging that second Sawbones, and also making it so that Justin has more difficult decisions on his next turn.
Yeah, and Justin choosing not to block here, which if Pheno resolves a chum and then has a way to activate chum on Justin's turn, Justin, unless he has a way to go wide, is going to be unable to send any pressure towards Pheno's life total.
Activating chum, a thing that is getting more and more difficult as Pheno digs through this deck. It looks like there's less than 10 cards there, and with the amount of blues that he's been pitching, I wonder how many allies are actually left in this deck.
Well, there's one, and it's committed to the pitch deck here to be able to play out the chum, which it looks like Pheno will send in for.
Did I just piss away my gold for no reason? I have no floating, and then I go to 1 floating just to play the chum instead. This makes no sense. What am I trying to draw for? An Arsenal? This doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't have done this.
And more difficult as Pheno digs through this deck. It looks like there's out for.
Oh, yeah. Cody told me about this.
1 into the grave, and effectively that Chart the High Seas has just pitched for 3 at the cost of 2 cards in deck.
not great. I mean, you do. I wonder if Pheno's fishing for an extra gold there to be able to draw towards a more natural endgame solution.
It might have been that last chum that he just drew off of a gold token that he was really looking for. Golden Tipple resolved out of the hand. It's in the blue, discarding chum friendly first mate, which means that Pheno is probably going to try to establish an even bigger board.
Yeah, I probably just play the Avast Yi, right? And then I get 2 attacks. I just played this turn absolutely wrong. What a fool.
Before swinging that second Sawbones, and also making it so that Justin has more difficult decisions on his next turn.
Yeah,
I have no idea what I was thinking in this moment, to be
If
honest.
Pheno resolves a chum and then has a way to activate chum on Justin's turn, Justin, unless he has a way to go wide, is going to be unable to send any pressure towards Pheno's life total.
I think every decision I could have made on this turn was incorrect. That's hilarious.
Thing that is getting more and more difficult as Pheno digs through this deck. It looks like there's less than 10 cards there, and with the amount of blues that he's been pitching, I wonder how many allies are actually left in this deck.
Well, there's one, and it's committed to the pitch deck here to be able to play out the chum, which it looks like Pheno will send in for 4, and that will be actually the end of his turn. Oh wait, actually no, because so is that amulet, can that be activated at instant speed?
It can be.
Okay, so not the end of his turn, and in fact, Pheno's going to be able to present lethal. So Justin's going to have to give a card.
You would be right, Patrick, but I don't think he has the pitch, currently indicating no resources floating and soft swing for free. And a PS2.
I just feel like we're gonna run low on time, unfortunately, but this does feel like the sort of matchup that Justin may have been able to close out with additional time. I wonder, he's not going to be able to do it this turn, but it'll obviously depend on the texture of his next hand, but you have to imagine that Justin is likely favored in this position. Hard to tell with such a board of allies.
It is really tough to tell, especially.
No, he doesn't kill me here, and then my next hand takes all of his cards.
Already, both of these players.
And then
really,
my hand
really
after
doing
that
a good
kills him.
job in this matchup. Justin, gotta hand it to him. He has made it seem like Florian is no slouch into this Gravy Bones deck, despite the fact that his representation plummeted after the second week of Nationals.
So it seems like Pheno would like to go down to 1 there. I wonder if that's a decision that's based on, I think I have the ability to present lethal damage such that you can't keep. I guess it's
1 versus 2
doesn't just keep a balloon
change anything.
Grasp and then swing his sword, or maybe the player's just playing to the draw there. A little bit unclear, but nevertheless going down to 1, and here comes the judge.
He's going to make 2 rune chants with hero power, so it's just like 1 versus 2 is the same thing. I can't go to 3. That would be the ideal life total, but
Judge now.
Yeah, probably. And so can't swing, limpet, hop along. Has he found any of those allies? No, I think it's just the one Rigor Mortis left in deck. Instead, he's found Riches of Tropoldani and a back alley break line in the blue. So it's curious to see whether this one's going to go to the draw or not.
And I'm sorry, I know you just did this elegant explanation of the rules here. Will Justin get another turn after this, or is it just Pheno's turn to resolve here?
If that hand we saw reach
exactly.
Justin's player
we make mistakes so we can learn.
Okay, now you're at time. That does mean that Justin would get.
I'm not upset about making mistakes in a. Okay, he had 2 grave keepings.
Gotcha. And
maybe he sunk the grave keepings with E strikes, and that's why we never saw them. And sinks. Because surely, like, we should be out of stack now, right?
The judge, folks, if that's not embarrassing enough for me.
I have yet to get my L0, but I kind of intend to one of these days. I would love to run a Learn to Play booth. Honestly, I would love to have them at AGE, and that is something we're actively working on.
You'd be excellent.
I'd love to run a...
I think if I play the Avast Yi last round, I do just kill him here. Because I missed out on, like, what, 6 damage there? Oh my god, that's so cringe. I'm so fucking bad at the game.
I like to, looks like because of exactly what, and almost like chain. Oh, and it's a Shelter for Time and Amulet. That after stream in some time now.
Yeah, I can't recall seeing one, and I think.
And there's no ability for him to keep a blue here either to try to kill me. Yeah. What's the 10? What are you saying is 10? I did attack with everything, so I didn't, like, waste any action points on this round. Oh, the other turn? Let's go back. Let's go to the start of the turn, because, like, cards changed over the course of the turn from top of deck manipulation. I believe it's after all the arcane, right? Is it this turn or is it the next turn? I think it's this, right?
I have not seen anybody.
It's this, right? No. Maybe? This turn? Okay. Okay, so we have a Given a Quarter, a Portside Exchange, and something in Arsenal. Was it Gravekeeping in Arsenal?
Can't quite make up in order to do as much damage as possible. 6 plays 9, but Pheno is far from done. There's 2 cards.
Okay, it's a chart. If I remember correctly, so, I also gold kissed at the wrong sequence. Okay. Okay, so we've got to go again, and 2 guys. Just face up, we can swing everything that's already here.
Effective. Without a doubt. And that's definitely one of those cards that fits more into like the Ira mold because you've got those Kodachis. In the case of Florian, who's usually action point starved, it can be a bit clunky. Except I suppose if you just go Grasp of the Arknight, swing Gravekeeping. Anyway, it's back to Pheno. 6 plays 13 here after Pheno blocked out the Gravekeeping with 2 Sunken Treasures. Pheno now swinging in Limpet Hop along.
Okay, I activated my gold kiss at the wrong time too. This is... I meant to play guy, gold kiss, swing guy. This is incorrect sequencing.
And drinking some rum in order to make this Sawbones come in for 6 go again.
And note that Pheno did not use the Sawbones prevention ability on his last turn. So clearly evincing an intent to attack him with not just one, but both Sawbones, which he's going to be able to do because due to the extra action point generation he has available to him, both through the Gold Kiss Rum and from the Amulet.
And
he could have sharked me on that.
Dropping all pretense and sending everything face. This just became a high-octane game in the last 3 minutes.
It sort of had to be, Bryce. These are 2 players who do not want to draw. They want to be able to win this game and understand the importance of that, and that's on display here.
I'm assuming it's a red on
The
top.
rest of the hand for Justin Gottlieb, but he's got to have some offensive capability here. Pheno is definitely
Okay, so we draw Tipple. Do we just chart now to find something?
cashing in action points in order.
Does that do anything? I don't have any guys in the bin, so like casting a blue doesn't actually do anything here. And if I need to put a blue in the bin, I can crack the diamond amulet. So I think... So cracking the gold is better, unless I need the gold. Because this lets me float money afterwards, right? Because I'm spending 2 for a card instead of trading a card for a card. Like, it's just 1 resource better.
In order to do as much damage as possible. 6 plays 9, but Pheno is far from done. There's 2 cards in the hand. He's attempting to resolve a Chart the High Seas. It's 2 blues off the top. 1 goes into the pitch, 1 into the grave, and effectively that Chart the High... Pisces has just pitched for 3 at the cost of 2 cards in deck.
Not great. I mean, you do. I wonder if Pheno's fishing for an extra gold there to be able to draw towards a more natural endgame solution.
It might have been that last chum that he just drew off of a gold token that he was really looking for. Golden Tipple resolved out of the hand. It's in the blue, discarding chum friendly first mate, which means...
Okay, so this was the Avast Yi that we wanted to play.
How much is probably going to try to establish
how big is this tipple
before swinging that second Sawbones, and also making it so that Justin has more difficult decisions on his next turn.
Yeah, and on Justin's.
Is this a blue tipple?
And with the amount of blues that he's been pitching, I wonder how many allies are actually left in this deck.
Well, there's one, and it's committed to the pitch deck.
If that was two blue tipples, surely I'm supposed to pitch tipple instead of Avast Yi there also, because I can just cast the Avast Yi and swing both. I know, I'm not sure on the port side play whether or not I'm supposed to do that. But surely I'm not supposed to pitch the Avast Yi, and I'm supposed to pitch one of the 2 blue tipples. If they're both blue. Which, it seems like they are.
Is getting more and more difficult as Pheno digs through this deck. It looks like there's
it's a blue tipple, and I played a blue tipple, so it's 2 blue tipples.
Are actually left in this deck.
Oh, I never had a choice to do that. Okay. Brother, I'm not tracking my stack. I don't even know what I'm doing right now with this deck. There's no stack track. I'm not that good. Okay, at least we didn't misplay and pitch the wrong card. Like, we never had a choice on the Avast Yi. Oh, you track after the call. If I remember the Avast Yi is there, I definitely like that play. It might be correct no matter what, though. It's probably correct no matter what. Okay, at least we didn't toss and get rid of a go again for no reason, though. I'm not too concerned about turning on the gravy. We have a chart in the arsenal. We have a Diamond Amulet in play. Like, if I want to play a guy out of the bin, that's not a concern this turn. Okay, I think that's about everything for this game, though. That's worth talking about. Unless you guys have any thoughts. Is my Nightbot just, like, not posting the Discord? Okay. Just the Patreon? Okay, buddy. Nightbot. Timers. It's set up to post the Discord. It's just not doing it. Thank you, Nightbot. Okay, learned some stuff there. Go subscribe to Hamal's Patreon and get the coaching from him. Alright, let's jump into some games finally. Enough stalling. Pull up my notepad. Don't know, so I'll go first. Okay, what are we doing? I feel like balance could be good here, but I need to know if I get punished for that. Send it? I think it's a send it. I think this is fine. Sick Arsenal. Kind of into just port siding here. Start getting our gold economy going. Ideally, whatever we draw is our Arsenal. Or the Avasti. This isn't a legal deck. Can't play that anymore. You guys like no gems? Reasonable. I think I would still play the eye, but maybe I'm crazy. Cody said she Living Legended. He said she won 3 events. Give this guy another minute, and then we'll just find another game. Unless Cody is big liar. Oh, there's something in the chat about maybe the math is wrong. Oh, I finally did the Discord thing. Good game. Learned a lot. Okay, I guess we'll update the Azalea sideboard while we're on that then. So we're going Mage Masters. I like the Swells. I like the extra Swabby. I'm going to play the Eye. Fuck you guys. Oh, I don't have a legal deck right now. That's why my sideboard was scuffed. I'm just playing with missing 6 cards. How did that happen? Chat, what am I missing? Sideboard cards? We got the boys. We got blues. I guess it's just tech cards. Alright, I got all my tipples. Anything that I want to test? He's right there. Let's just throw some cards that I wanted to mess around with in the sideboard if we get those matchups. Yeah, I could give no quarter. I think I should be still playing it, though, since I have 2 whalers. So we'll just put those back in the inventory for fatigue matchups. I shaved some of the blues from the list to basically be like, I think I just want like a core of like 30 blues for right now for testing things, just to give myself more card space for the cards, for like testing out experimental cards. So I just cut down my blue base to like what do I want my core blues to be, so that way I have more cards in the sideboard, so I'm not going to above 60 in matchups. Yeah, I agree. I put the whalers back in after I made those cuts. I agree. I don't think I want to be balanced. I could see these boots being good, but I'm not going to play them because I need to know if I need to be Mage Masters or not. Are we dinking? Is this a dink matchup? I'm gonna do this so I can hedge, in case this is like trying to fatigue me deck, because I don't actually know how this matchup plays yet. Bro, hit me with a thanks. Didn't even hit me with the U2. So BM. I've been testing it out. Looking at the numbers, nobody's playing Riches, though. So maybe that gets cut? I've liked it. What is this deck? Huh? What's going on? I guess I'll get rid of his Nimblism. That could be relevant. I guess get rid of a Vast Yi, since currently this doesn't do anything. What he's saying is bait. I think I just take one here. Bro's so good at the game. Give me a guy. Give me a guy. Let me play the game. I can kind of play the game. Am I hooking this? You compass here? Doesn't it just start with Tipple? And then pitch the eye? I'm just gonna do that so that like I have a pace of play here, but you can explain why that's wrong. Yeah. Top, top. Draw this. Swell this. I don't think I like keeping the conch. I don't want to have an arsenal to fight over. I think I just send it and just get my damage. And if he has arsenal disruption, he looks like a fool. Do we hero power that? I guess not. It's kind of free. We have 3 gold. Just like to get a guy there for later. I think because we have so much gold, I just want to get a guy in the bin. This feels like a fake hit effect. This doesn't feel like a blocking hand to me. I think I don't block this and then decide afterwards if I want to compass, maybe? I think it's Compass. And then maybe Hero Power? Maybe it's just always Hero Power and discard this. The thing is, if there's a blue on top, we don't actually have a blue to play, so like playing guys doesn't really matter. I could also just block with a Sunken Treasure. Okay. Rude. Okay, what are we supposed to do? I could also just, like, block with a Sunken Treasure. Don't make a gold. Dead Threads. Discard the... Oh, no, that's bad. It's another Tipple on top. What did we learn that game? Play faster. I guess I need to make an Ira, huh? Nope. Literally the same guy. Let's see. I think I'm going first. Or he's going first. Someone's going first. Is Snag actually good versus Slippy? It's like basically just for, what, bonds? I mean, we should play with the card to see if it's bad, right? Like, just to experiment. And hopefully he doesn't regicide us. Probably just port side here, I guess. There's a thought about playing Tipple, discarding Tipple also. I think it's what's on top. Go to 2 floating. Draw the call. Then I don't have enough to play him. It's probably just play him. If I tipple for that, I don't have the money, right? Because I pitched the blue to play the tipple, floating 2. Discard tipple, draw the call. Now I have 2 floating and a call in my hand. I can't dead threads to get to 4 resources. I don't have enough money. If I want to pitch the call, then yeah, but that's bad. This could also be a matchup that we're supposed to be the other boots. Okay. Bro, Snag would go crazy if he played a reaction on this. I should probably stop doing that since I'm playing a deck that literally makes money. I think we're just pitching the call, though. Bro, Snag would have gone crazy. Maybe we're supposed to pitch the tipple there to keep a blue in hand. Well, that's awkward. Do we just draw that? And then dead threads play the swell? The alternative is just, like, run this raw dog conk out. That seems really loose. I mean, I guess we don't actually have that many reds in the deck. And if we draw an ally, that still plays with hero power. That seems loose. I'm not going to do that. Sorry. I should hook this. I'm okay with this. Bro, where are our blues? This doesn't get pumped by any of this, right? There's no tricks here, right? Like, I just block with my gloves, and I don't get juiced? Am I missing something? Okay. It's probably start with compass, right? I think it's start with compass to see if it's a thing, and then if it's a blue, we play the swell, and if it's not, we clear the way with the sea legs. So now we can hero power, draw, discard, dead threads, play, tipple, discard, sea legs, and then see what we're doing after that. So we've played a blue, so our hero power's on. I can go. I guess it's still always value to play this spell, right? Because I have this conch in my hand that I can't play. So we just kind of YOLO it. Unlucky. Hamilton makes it look real easy. You just always have a blue on top when you play that card. So much better at the game than I am. But you're not allowed to be lucky and good. That's just fucking against the rules. Do I care about this? I don't think so. I don't care. I also don't care. Just damage. Oh man, the D-React would have gone crazy here. Sure. I don't care. Yeah, Snag would have gone crazy here. Snag or the D-React would have been sick. No! My one back, Ellie! You sack of shit. God damn you. It's probably hero power, discard, dead threads, play tipple. Is there a reason to compass first? Before any of this. It's probably hero power compass. I think it's hero power first and then we reevaluate. It's a lot of guys. We have an Oyston, yeah. Kind of like playing Chum. This one's kind of awkward for him to play. Or to kill, rather. I guess it's worth dead threadsing. This is just always happening. So we'll compass after. This could be a Mage Master turn also. Well, I think I'm attacking with, like, either of these guys this turn. That's an awkward draw. Just gonna have to pitch this, I guess. So we got 3 resources. So we can't play both. Oh, no, we can. Kind of doesn't accomplish anything, though. Like, I'll play the Oyston and the Rigor Mortis and get to attack with the Rigor Mortis. But then... he just picks them both off with daggers. So I think maybe I draw the blue here. Because we have extra gold. And I don't think we play this. I think we just play the chum and hook it. Small F. Because this also buys us space for us to play the